In this lecture, we'll clean up old obstacles falling off our bridge, destroying them with a giant trigger volume. You've probably noticed, but for quite some time now, our obstacles just fall into the abyss down below for all infinity and beyond. Well, that of course can actually get pretty expensive for our game the more and more objects we start to put in our scene. I think it's time before we move on, just kind of while we're on the conversation of different types of collisions, let's just go ahead and clean this up in our project. And let's accomplish that by putting in a giant trigger volume before our bridge that will just destroy any sort of object that collides with it. Which will introduce you to this lecture's challenge. Go ahead and create that trigger volume that we just chatted about below the bridge that will destroy obstacles that fall off and collide with that trigger volume. Make sure it's out of the sight of the camera, and just for reference, I'll call my script obstacle destroy. With only a couple steps in our project to resolve this sort of issue that we're having at the moment, I think you can go ahead and tackle this entire challenge on your own. Go ahead and pause the video. I'll see you back here in a few moments and we'll go through my solution together. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and pop into our scripts folder and create a new mono behavior script. What did I say I was going to call mine? I believe it was obstacle destroy. Let's go ahead and attach that to a giant trigger volume in our scene. So right here, create empty. I'm just going to go ahead and call mine obstacle destroy trigger volume, just to be explicit. We can go ahead and add a component. I think a box collider would make the most sense. Let's go ahead and make this a trigger. I'll go ahead and just center it out right near my player for now, but I do want it below my entire bridge. So probably somewhere around -30 or so, just to make sure it's out of our camera's view entirely. And we do want this guy quite big, just to make sure we're always catching obstacles that fall off the bridge. So I'm just going to do something ridiculous like 300 by 10 by 300, just so I have this giant trigger volume below our bridge. We can actually probably even position it a bit more forward on the Z-axis as well. So with my obstacle trigger volume selected, I'm just going to go ahead and drag it way up here quite a bit, probably even make my Z value, maybe even something like 500, just to be absolutely sure it always catches any sort of obstacle that falls off our bridge. With this obstacle destroy trigger volume created, let's go ahead and drag on our obstacle destroy class attached to it and open that up in VS Code. With our obstacle destroy class open, all we need to do is go ahead and create an on trigger enter method. We can go ahead and delete the private keyword, making sure we're passing through a collider. It doesn't really matter actually what game object it is. We're never really going to have anything falling off the bridge but obstacles. So all we need to do is just destroy other.gameObject. And that's all we need. Let's go ahead and give it a save and make sure it's working back in Unity. Let's go ahead and hit play, and we can just kind of patiently wait for an obstacle to fall off the bridge. Okay, here we go. Our cannon is falling off, moment of truth, and as soon as it connects with that trigger collider, great. We are properly destroying our obstacles. Now, it can be nice to check on our performance once in a while as a bit of a sanity check. You can always go ahead and open up your game view and just open up this stats window in the very top right. We're instantiating quite a few objects at this point. We've got a lot of different physics collision going on. We're starting to execute quite a bit of logic, and we're now also destroying each individual game object that falls off our bridge. However, because we've actually done a pretty good job programming everything in a relatively performant way so far, I've still got my FPS at a screaming, relatively high 150 to 200 frames per second. Again, your mileage may vary depending on the performance of your computer, but it can always be nice to do a quick sanity check when it comes to the frames per second you're getting on your computer. Great, now I am actually noticing I don't really love that each individual fence on my bridge is so actually closely connected. So let's actually go ahead and fix that by going into our chunk prefab, and on our chunk script directly, let's actually just change these lanes value. Instead of -2.5 and 2.5, I'm going to try -3 and +3. Let's go ahead and try that out. I just want to kind of achieve the effect that each individual fence, when they spawn two side by side, just have a little bit more separation between the two. Yeah, I actually quite like that quite a bit. I think that will suffice for my needs. The last thing I'd like to do in this lecture is just organize my scripts folder at this point a little bit. Let's go ahead and create a few different folders. I'm going to go ahead and create a player folder. Let's go ahead and drag in our player collision handler and our player controller. Yep, I think that makes sense. We'll give that a second to recompile, and let's also create another folder that I'll call procgen. In other words, just procedural generation for short. Let's actually drag in my chunk, my level generation class, and my obstacle destroy class, as well as my obstacle spawner class. Let's go ahead and drag all four of those classes inside my procgen folder. It can be pretty common to get some sort of Unity compilation error when you're moving scripts around. Just go ahead and pop into your console window and go ahead and clear those errors. Lastly, let's go ahead and create a pickups folder. We'll go ahead and create some more scripts later on for both our Apple and our coin, so I think that makes sense for now. Let's go ahead and put our pickup class into our pickups folder. Well done on this relatively short lecture. However, it can always be important to make sure that as we continue, our projects are staying clean from the top to bottom, not only in our actual scene and our hierarchy, but our folder structure as well. When you're ready to move on, I'll see you in the next one.